Hey everyone, my name is AJ and welcome to the first video of Azuria Plays. In this mini-series, we're going to be following my journey through my first venture into competitive Pokemon battling. I recently took part in a tournament on Twitter, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the team we've assembled and dive into our first match of the preliminaries. All tournament battles were a 6v6 doubles format, and each entrant was allowed to have one legendary Pokemon on their team. There were 16 entrants, and we were each split into 4 groups: Pikachu, Venusaur, Blastoise or Charizard. For the preliminary stage, we had to fight other 3 members of the group, and the top 2 players advanced to the playoff stages. I enjoyed using the Rain Rental team for the Battle Tower, so decided for the tournament I would use another weather-based team. However, as I also wanted to switch things up, I opted to use a Sand team instead of a Rain team, and in that note, let's head on to the team walkthrough. First up for the team, we have Tyranitar. She's going to be our main weather setter for the match, as her ability Sandstream will automatically start a sandstorm when Tyranitar enters the battle. We've opted for an Adamant nature to increase her attack stat at the cost of special attack, and maxed out her attack effort values as well. The rest of the effort values have been mostly put into HP with a small number in speed. Tyranitar has the move Super Power to help deal with any opposing Dark, Rock and Steel types. Fire Punch is a coverage option for grass types which your team struggles with. Rock Slide is a strong rock move that can hit both opponents at once in double battles and gets the same type attack bonus. And finally, we have Crunch, a strong dark type move to add extra coverage. Tyranitar will be holding a Smooth Rock to extend the sandstorm created by her ability from 5 turns to 8. Next up we have Lycanroc, who will act as our suicide lead for the team. Lycanroc was bred for the team by Pokemon breeder Polly, who has also bred a set of randomly chosen eggs for an Egglock challenge run, the first episode of which will be ready shortly. Lycanroc has the ability Sandrush, which doubles its speed during a sandstorm. As Lycanroc already has a high speed stat, this means we should outpace pretty much anything we come across. Lycanroc also has an Adamant nature to maximise its attack stat, and the effort buys have been put into attack and speed. As Lycanroc has failed defences, he'll be holding a Focus Sash to make sure he doesn't get taken down in one hit. We anticipate Lycanroc's main job will be to set up Stealth Rocks at the start of the fight to allow us to start causing some chip damage to the opposing team as they switch Pokemon. Lycanroc then has Psychic Fangs to allow us to remove any screams from the battle, and Rock Slide is our main attacking move. For the final move, we opted for Quick Guard to protect our team from Pokemon with the Prankster ability, so that our team couldn't be shut down by priority status moves such as Will-O-Wisp or Thunderwave. Excadrill is the next member of the team, and he will be the main damage dealer. Like Lycanroc, he has the ability Sandstream, with effort values maximised for both attack and speed. As Excadrill has lower base speed stat, he has a Jolly nature to help increase this speed at the cost of some of his special attack. Excadrill is holding a Life Orb to increase the damage of his moves at the cost of some HP each time he launches an attack. As for his moveset, Excadrill has the ground type attack High Horsepower. While Earthquake is a stronger physical move than High Horsepower, it deals damage to all Pokemon in battle, including Excadrill's current partner on our side of the field. As 1/3 of our team is weak to ground type moves, High Horsepower was a safer option. Next up, he has Iron Head as a strong steel type attack, and Rock Slide for the same reason as Tyranitar and Lycanroc. The final move on Excadrill was a hard choice to make, and I spent some time debating if we should pick Swords Dance for the attack boost, or Rapid Spin for the ability to remove entry hazards. In the end, I opted for Rapid Spin, as with frail defense, I was worried Swords Dance wouldn't get the opportunity to really shine. The 4th spot on the team goes to Ferrothorn, one of our 2 defensive Pokemon. Ferrothorn has a relaxed nature, which lowers its speed stat while increasing its defense, and we also kept its speed IV as low as possible, or at least as low as we could get it until it was bored of hatching eggs. This was to ensure Gyro Ball could deal as much damage as possible, as its damage is increased the slower you are compared to the target. For the effort values, I went with max HP, and the rest were split across defense and special defense. The double set suggested online recommended you put 88 effort values into the attack stat. However, instead we opted to spread these across the defense stats, putting 100 into special defense and 156 into defense to make sure she was as bulky as possible. Her ability Iron Barbs will make sure we get some extra damage off on any attackers that make physical contact. She's also holding the leftovers, which will help to top up her HP at the end of each turn. Ferrothorn has the moves Gyro Ball, as previously mentioned, along with the moves Power Whip to add some extra coverage to her attacking options. She then has Leech Seed to allow Ferrothorn to get some extra residual healing each turn, and Toxic to help deal with any tanky threats we might come across. Next up we have Gastrodon. Gastrodon is an important part of the team, as he will be our main counter to any water types thanks to his ability Storm Drain. This draws down all water attacks, nullifying the damage and increasing our special attack stat instead. However, with the water ground typing, he can't take much punishment from any grass type moves, so to counter this he'll be holding a Rindleberry to reduce the damage from the first grass attack he takes. Gastrodon has Scald as his main water type attack, which will give us a chance to inflict a burn on our opponent. Earth Power will be our ground type attack, and we'll also have the move Recover to heal up any damage we've taken previously. Similar to Excadrill, the final move was a tough choice. I toyed with the idea of going with Stockpile to allow for a boost in both defense stats, but in the end I went for Clear Smog. This gives us some extra coverage, and it also gives us an option to remove stats from Pokemon that might try set up against us with moves such as Nasty Plot or Belly Drum. Last but not least, we have our team legend, Crowned Zacian. Zacian has max attack and speed effort values, as well as an adamant nature to push his already monstrous attack stat even higher. This pairs well with his Intrepid Sword ability, which will increase his attack stat by 1 stage when he enters the battle. Zacian's first move is Sacred Sword. I opted for this over Close Combat, as with more stat changes, and will hopefully a better choice against any Zamazenta. It also doesn't have the negative effect of lowering your defense stats. Next, we have Play Rough as a strong fairy type move to deal with any dragons we might come across, as I expect Dracovish and Dragapult will be pretty common foes. Next, we have Iron Head that will turn into Behemoth Blade, as Zacian is holding the Rusted Sword. This will be good for taking down any Dynamax Pokemon, and is also a strong Steel type move. For the final move slot, I gave him Firefang over Crunch, to give us an extra option for taking down any grass types that we know we're going to struggle with. I feel this team's pretty cohesive, and I have a few coverage moves to deal with any types you're weak against, such as water, grass and fighting Pokemon. Let me know down in the comments below what Pokemon you would use for a sand team, and also let me know what moves you think might have worked better on the team that we've created here. With the team assembled, we're heading into the first match of the tournament, where we've been pitted against Luke. Our opponent starts off with a Cinderace and a Gigalith, while we start off with Tyranitar and Lycanroc. Tyranitar's ability kicks in, and a Sandstorm starts to blow across the battlefield. Anticipating a fighting move from the Cinderace, we immediately swap Tyranitar in favour of Gastrodon. Thinking Quick Guard worked like Light Screen and Reflect, we set it up to protect ourselves from any Sucker Punch that might come our way. Cinderace goes for a high jump kick, and thanks to its ability Libero, becomes a fighting type. Cinderace hits his mark, dealing massive damage to Gastrodon, and Gigalith sets up Stealth Rocks to start getting some chip damage on our team. On the next turn, Cinderace readies a Sucker Punch, and this is when we learn the harsh truth that Quick Guard only lasts for a single turn. Gastrodon takes a Sucker Punch to the face and is knocked out of the battle before she can launch an attack of her own. Lycanroc then tries to Psychic Fang the Cinderace, but Libero has caused Cinderace to switch to a Dark type, and our move has no effect. Gigalith takes no time in punishing us for our mistake by launching a powerful Stone Edge at Lycanroc, taking him into red health. Not the best of starts. I replace Gastrodon with Excadrill, and Gigalith's Quick Claw triggers, allowing it to move first this turn. Knowing I'm at a serious disadvantage, I Dynamax Excadrill to double his health and allow us to deal some heavy damage. Gigalith strikes first, taking Lycanroc down with a powerful Stone Edge, preventing me from setting up my own Stealth Rocks. The Dynamax Excadrill then burrowed underground to launch a devastating Max Quake at Cinderace, and takes the Fire Bunny down before he can deal any further damage to our team. We also get a special defense boost thanks to the bonus effect of Max Quake. Luke then sends in Aegislash, and we send Ferrothorn out, hoping her Power Whip can deal some damage to Gigalith. Ferrothorn shrugs off the damage from Stealth Rocks, and Gigalith's Quick Claw activates for a second time in a row. Aegislash protects itself with King's Shield, preventing it from taking any damage from standard moves. Our opponent takes this opportunity to attack with an Earthquake, but both our team tank the hit relatively well. Excadrill readies another Max Quake, which in hindsight we should have targeted towards Gigalith. However, Max Quake proves too devastating to defend against, and Aegislash still takes almost half its health and damage. Once again, our team's special defense rises, and Ferrothorn readies her Power Whip, but ultimately misses her mark, leaving Gigalith without a scratch. Luke then calls for Dynamax of his own, and the Giga that's been causing us so much trouble grows to match Excadrill in size. Aegislash then changes to its blade form and manages to sneak up behind Ferrothorn to stab her in the back. Unfortunately for him, Ferrothorn's iron barbs cause him to take just about as much damage as he dealt. Excadrill counters with another Max Quake, knocking Aegislash out, evening up the match. This gets a third special defense boost for himself, while providing Ferrothorn with a second boost. Gigalith matches Excadrill move for move and slams him with a powerful Quake that takes the Iron Mole out of action. After some explosions, Excadrill shrinks down to size and returns to his Pokeball. Now, with a bigger target, Ferrothorn cracks her whip once more, this time hitting Gigalith square on, but dealing far less damage than we had hoped for. Knowing we're on the ropes, we call for a trump card, Zacian. Luke counters this with a Volcarona, but Zacian quickly gets to work with a Behemoth Blade, cutting Gigalith down to size and removing her from the fight. Taking a risk, we leave Ferrothorn in, hoping a double special defense boost would help keep her in the fight and allow us to get off a Toxic and Volcarona. Her gamble pays off, and she survives the hit with 77 HP after some leftover recovery, and Volcarona takes some damage from the Sandstorm and Toxic. Our opponent then sends out his legendary, Zamazenta, to replace his Fractured Rock Pokemon. Anticipating another Flamethrower, we recall Ferrothorn in favour of Tyranitar. Upon seeing his rival Zamazenta, Zacian flies towards her and takes a swipe at her with his Sacred Sword, reducing the Dauntless Shield below half health. As predicted, Volcarona tries to incinerate Ferrothorn, but her replacement takes a hit with relative ease thanks to his rock typing. Zamazenta then closes in to take his revenge on Zacian, taking the Intrepid Sword down to below half health at the cost of a drop of both of his colossal defense stats. The turn ends with Volcarona losing more HP to the Sand and Toxic. On the following turn, Zacian readies his sword again and finishes the job he started in the previous turn. This takes Zamazenta out of the action. However, Volcarona takes this chance to engulf Zacian in its flames, reducing his HP to 0. After recalling Zacian, Tyranitar brings down a mountain worth of rocks on top of the Fire Moth, avenging his fallen teammate. We send Ferrothorn back out, and Luke sends out his last Pokemon, Milotic. The Stealth Rocks dig into Ferrothorn, taking her down to only 55 HP as Milotic attacks with her potentially devastating Ice Beam. Remember earlier when I mentioned I gave Ferrothorn some extra special defense effort values? Well, this is where they pay off. She hangs on with just 3 HP as Tyranitar drops more rocks onto the battlefield. Disappointed in herself for missing Rhyperior at the start of the match, Ferrothorn takes the time to line up her shot and takes Milotic down with a well-aimed Power Whip. Despite her best efforts, and battling like Ash during his Indigo League days, we managed to scrape a win in our first match of the tournament. While what little confidence we had is definitely shaken, my team is raring to go, and we are excited to see what the last 2 members of Charizard Group have in store for us. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you thought, and make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see where our tournament journey leads. Tune in next time, where we will cover the final 2 battles of the preliminary stages, and see if we can make it to the playoffs.